And welcome. I am Exit and this is my channel. Thank you for coming. Now, back in October, I was telling stories about real paranormal experiences that I've had in my life, and I didn't get to one of them. So, today I'm going to tell you about one of the experiences that not only myself, but my husband and a house guest experienced seeing a shadow figure. So let's get started, shall we? So, as I've explained before, I started having paranormal experiences probably around the age of 13. But long, long before that, I thought that I could read minds and that I could change things by thinking about them, or I could heal somebody by quietly put my hand on them. I know what you're thinking, because I would have been thinking that too. But as it turns out, if I put my hand on you and tell you to think of a number or a color, 90% of the time, I'll be right. Even colors that people don't normally pick. So there's that one. I do not think that I can heal people anymore. I don't even know where that came from. Possibly the church I grew up in. Just gonna leave it at that. But also, the church I grew up in said that there weren't anything like psychics or mediums or ghosts. Well, there was one ghost, the Holy Ghost. But other than that, those were demons, if you should encounter one. That's above my pay grade. I'll leave that to you guys to decide what you believe. I believe that I can see ghosts. As a matter of fact, I've seen a lot of shadow figures. A lot. And, to be honest with you, have learned to just coincide with them. If they're not harmful, why bother? In one of my homes in Arizona, I had a young boy in that home who had followed me a couple of different places, and he would walk down my stairs. We all saw him, except for my husband, but eventually my husband did see him as well. And I had a son that was the same size as this boy. And occasionally his siblings would think that he was on the stairs alone and could fall and hurt himself because he was young, very young. There was also a man that occasionally came down the stairs with the young boy. And while it didn't bother us to cohabitate with these shadow figures, nobody, nobody, even people who were visiting and spending the night, felt comfortable walking up the stairs. We all ran. The bad thing was that the light for the stairs was at the bottom of the stairs, so you had to run up in the dark. And at the very top of the stairs was my bedroom, mine and my husband's. And it had a loft upstairs. Some people call it a game room. We used it as a loft. And they had our computer in there and some furniture. And then there were three bedrooms. off to the side of that. So, for some reason that I'm not aware of, my son's best friend was spending the night at our house, and he was sleeping upstairs on the couch in the loft area. So he's asleep, and my husband and I are in bed, and we're asleep. And I think it must have been that my son was working late, which was why his friend was there, probably just waiting for him. Either way, my bedroom had these French doors, so both doors opened out, and we always kept one closed and one mostly closed so that the kids could find their way. They were young, in the middle of the night if need be. So, one night, kids are sleeping. The best friend is sleeping on the couch, and we're sleeping. And I turn over something. You know how you get that feeling that something is looking at you? That sixth sense that you're being watched? Well, I had that. My son is a tall boy. He's about 6 foot 3 inches. He's not small built. And I looked out, and the room is barely being lit by a nightlight somewhere off towards the bedrooms. But I can see very clearly that there's a 6 foot something man standing in our doorway. At the same time, my husband got that feeling that somebody was watching him, and he turned and looked at the door. And I said, "Son's name?" Well, I can say it here because he's been on this channel before and done a podcast. So I said, "Jory," and there was nothing. And I said, "Jory," and there was nothing. And my husband sat straight up and said in a very gruff tone, "Jory." And at that exact moment, my bedroom door, which opened into our bedroom, these two doors opened into our bedroom. One is locked, one is open. Something slammed that door shut. So if I was to be standing at that door, I would have had to reach into the bedroom, grab the doorknob, and pull it closed to be on the other side of the door. And that's what happened. So my husband immediately jumped out of bed, might have grabbed some form of a protection, flew open the door, and now best friend of my son is awake on the couch, and they're both up. My husband, best friend, they're both up. And the best friend is saying, "What was that?" Because he saw an over 6 foot tall figure, completely black. I don't know if run is the exact word, but go by fast enough in front of him that there was a breeze. So they went looking. They searched the entire house, every bedroom, every bathroom, every closet, every cupboard, you name it. If there's a possibility to get in it, it was searched. The doors were checked. They were locked. My son was not home, but we all saw this 6 foot something tall man standing in our bedroom door. We heard him slam the door, all three of us, and best friend felt him whiz by. That did not feel like somebody that we could cohabitate with. That wasn't the feeling at all. The next time, what I'm going to do is tell you about the Hat Man that used to stand in my son's room every night. And perhaps these 2 incidents, this tonight and the next one I tell you, are connected. Thank you for coming to my channel. Sleep tight.